Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China, the bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. But those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that. They take almost finished bags from China factories back to their own countries and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that. That way, the bags will appear at their boutiques as made in Italy or made in France. You know, those sophisticated European countries, which make you feel mysterious, royal, and thus luxury. Now, close your eyes. Let's just do a little very easy experiment in your head, okay? Imagine that you have Hermes bag and suddenly the label on it changed from made in France into made in China, while everything else like leathers, zippers, and hardware remain the same. Do you suddenly feel that your bag is not as luxury as before? If you do, that means you have been misled and poisoned by the market campaign of those luxury brands for too long. Welcome to the real world. Now you see, those bags are made in China by our intelligent and diligent Chinese artisans. Let's not be poisoned and misled by the market campaign any longer and be a real person. Buy a bag from our factory in China, see the real world for yourself.
Hi, welcome. This is a lot of Chinese business owners are exposing luxury brands. It's been like a trade war with the US. So there's been a lot of videos popping out of them showing and saying, hey, like we have been the ones like producing all these luxury brands and just slapping a tag on it. That a lot of expensive luxury brand that people purchase, they're just buying it for the name because it doesn't take much to actually produce them as much as they charge or they get people to pay for it. So we're going to be checking out this video as people talk about it and what this whole discussion is about. But before we get right into this video, I want to give a very big shout out to John for sending me a $10 cash app. Thank you so much for always supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Please make sure you click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. Let's get right into this video.
You see this whole trade war with China and America and how China is basically exposing all these luxury brands. Why are we acting surprised? Oh my God, I never knew it cost $100 to make designer items. Wake up and smell the flipping coffee. Do you not know what capitalism is? We're all victims of capitalism. It's just that certain people sit on the furthest ends of the spectrum. The reason we buy anything in this life is for the brand, is for the logo. Let me break it down. If you saw a jacket that looked just like a Moncler, the exact same quality, the exact same stitching, the exact same manufacturer, but it didn't have the logo, would you still buy it? If your answer was no, then congratulations, you're the biggest victim of capitalism. Please, let's be guided, okay? This isn't news. People with common sense have been knowing this. And for those of you screaming, yes, this means reps are real, calm down, buddy. Okay, there's some Jordans I've seen and I know damn well Jordan never did that move. Listen, I'm gonna be the last person in this life to tell anyone how to spend their money. If you wanna buy designer, go ahead and buy designer, but start to accept that you're paying for a logo. And that's perfectly fine. There's many items I owned that I know I could have got for cheaper, but I bought it just because of the brand. An iPhone is a perfect example. The only time I look at people sideways is when they can't afford designer items but still buy it anyways. At that point, you're a slave to capitalism. Each to their own, but me personally, I couldn't give less of a toss about owning designer. I care more about assets and generational wealth than Balenciaga's. Because I'm not dripped out from head to toe or flexing on the gram, people couldn't fathom that I was able to buy a house, and that's a product of capitalism. Maybe back when I was a young G, I gave a shit about designer, but now, almost 25, I look at a £300 designer t-shirt and think, oh more, that £300 could have got me a nice sofa off Facebook Marketplace.
The Chinese takedown of luxury goods is wild right now because luxury goods are a huge source of soft power for the West. Soft power is power through things like culture, music, even language. Like US TV shows, that's a form of soft power because it makes the US aspirational and desirable in some ways. So with luxury brands, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, these Birkins, it creates this aspiration for the West, or aspiration to be European in a way, showing that Europe is this gold standard of quality. But when China's revealing that 80% of anything you buy that's Gucci is made in China, that over 60% of anything that you buy from Prada is made in China, that the only difference is that they send it over to Europe and then they stitch on a made in France or made in Italy little label. It's the ultimate pulling the curtain on the wizard in The Wizard of Oz and showing that there actually is no real magic and power in the person who's controlling Oz. I think it's going to be really interesting because there is such a stigma of something that's made in China. There's this perception of lesser quality in the West, but when you reverse that paradigm. When you show that all these goods that you thought were better because they came from Italy or France or wherever, when actually, in actuality, it comes from China, you're forcing consumers to reckon with why they make choices. So if consumers are going to start questioning the perceived worth of luxury goods, consumers are going to then realize that luxury brands are just high markup middlemen. They're just peddling an idea of something versus an actual quality good. And you can just then cut them out and go to the source. And so I think what China is doing right now, by shifting this perception of soft power, by taking back soft power, by showing real power in infrastructure and manufacturing, we're going to see a real flip in a lot of things, whether it comes to labor market, whether it comes to manufacturing, whether it comes to who buys luxury goods and perception of luxury as well. And so, I don't know, I'm just in it for the ride here.
I have been on a Chinese supplier side of TikTok and I'm loving it. They are basically like, we know that people generally knew that their stuff was being marked up and we never said anything about it as a courtesy. You know what I'm saying? As a courtesy, is to not harm your brands. However, you want to bite the hand that feeds you? No. Now we're going to show everyone exactly where all of your things are made. We're going to talk to the people who make all of those things. We're going to tell you how much those things actually cost as a finished product. I just saw one where my man said I can get 20 laundry pods for $1. $1? Do you know how much Tide is charging me for laundry pods? I saw another one and this woman's pulling out Louis Vuitton bags like, oh, this is $2. This is $2. $2? Yeah, you got me. Cut the middleman out. Cut the middleman out. And I'm watching every video. Because next thing I need to find out is how to get it right from the source. How to get all my stuff right from the source. 20 pods for $1? Do you know? I'm still stuck on that. Do you know how much it costs to do my laundry here in America? Do you know how much a Tide Pod costs?
This Birkin bag at Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. And the second is Weinheimera from Germany. And the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? The thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil au Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil. This edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called heat sealed edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. And the zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans. To finish one bag, the human resource cost will be 600 USD. Package. Now this is not that expensive, it's 10 USD. So now to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use
Chinese factories are exposing luxury brands.
made in Italy or made in France. Welcome to the real world. Now you see, those bags are made in China.
China makes 80% of your designer bags.
Who's the Chinese supplier behind Under Armour? Shenzhou International. Nike shoes from China to your country?
Who are the suppliers behind Salomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la? First, Baocheng Factory.
It's not just calling them out, they're showing the world exactly where your $1,000 handbag or your $100 leggings are really being made. They're now offering you the same exact stuff, no middleman, no markup. In a bold move that seems more like economic warfare than manufacturing, Chinese workers are lifting the lid on $1 billion illusion. The bags, the shoes, the clothing that say made in Italy or designed in Paris, a huge chunk of them are actually being produced in China. And with Trump's new tariffs hammering Chinese exports, the factories are fighting back by selling directly to you online and calling out the whole hypocrisy. And on TikTok, it's gone viral. Factory workers and agents are filming inside production lines, showing piles of Louis Vuitton bags, Gucci purses, Lululemon leggings. Some say we make the same thing the brands sell, but for $20, not $2,000. Videos show labeled items sold from the same factory floor at 1/10 of the price.
Lululemon sells this jacket for nearly $100, but here it only costs you $6 to $5.
The exact same item, just no label. And these videos, they're getting millions of views. And these aren't fakes. The bags and shoes being sold are real, or at least made in the exact same places with the exact same materials. Because luxury brands like Prada, Armani, and even Louis Vuitton outsource a ton of their manufacturing to China, and now we're learning this for real. They ship the parts to Italy, do the same little thing with the stitching, maybe slap on the label, and boom, made in Italy. It's legal, but it isn't honest. If you're just throwing a label on something and saying made in Italy, but the whole thing was actually made somewhere else, you're lying. One investigation recently found that Chinese-run factories were paying workers $2 an hour to assemble $1,800 Armani handbags. And they still got the made in Italy stamp. It's all smoke and mirrors. These TikTok exposés are cracking the illusion wide open. If your $2,000 purse is made by the same hands as a $50 duplicate, why pay 40 times more? It's not just China breaking the rules, it's the brands gaming the system. And now, the workers who have been hidden behind the curtain, they're stepping into the spotlight and showing the world the truth. And frankly, I'm all for it. Expose these luxury brands that have been ripping us off for too long. The world's factory is speaking, and the message is clear. You've been paying for a label, not the labor. And in this new global economy, the label might not be worth that much anymore.
I am about to crash out. Seriously, I'm crashing out. China, they on our ass. Let me tell you something. Y'all see all these damn bags that I have? Okay? These are the bags they're talking about. Like, I have a Birkin, a Fendi, a Louis. I've never even used this bag yet. A Chanel, Louis, Fendi, Chanel, Gucci, Louis. And you're telling me what I have spent on all these bags, I could have went to China and got them and not spent all this money? China, I'm coming. But let me just show you all the bags that I actually really have. Look at this. Jack Moose, Louis, Hermes, Louis, Dior, 3 Chanels, Fendi, YSL, Chanel, Louis, Chanel, Louis, Gucci, Chanel. All of this stuff that I spent my hard-earned money on, all of this, are you freaking telling me that I overpaid for all of this shit? Let me go on Expedia or whatever and find me an airline ticket to China, because I'm coming. I'm coming to see y'all. Look for me. And I also want to add that this Louis wallet, it legit say made in France. Made in France. I am now checking all my shit. China. I'm coming.
It needs to be studied how quick we lose the plot. It needs to be studied. If you guys haven't been paying attention, between this drama with Trump and China and the tariff situation, China lifted their ban on counterfeit products being made in China. And around the same time, we started to see an influx of Chinese sources basically saying, hey, the items that you guys think are fake or the items that are being pay top dollar for, they're one, made in the same factory as the fakes, and they're not worth what you guys are paying for it for. It's literally costing us $5 to make, and you guys are paying thousands and thousands of dollars. We now have people on the internet literally arguing whether these people are telling the truth or not. When at the end of the day, the point still stands, is that we as American consumers are spending a lot of money for things that, one, don't really hold their value. And if they do hold their value, it's only because we place the value on them. You have girls who will literally get on a flight, go to Dubai, have a bunch of people boo-boo in their mouth for a bag. A bag that only costs $30, $40 to make. Sometimes not even that. That's the point of them coming out, letting you know that the way you guys are paying money for stuff, y'all don't have to pay as much money as you're being charged. That's the point of what they are saying. That point still stands, whether or not they're lying. When we get on here and we tell you guys, hey, that bag, yeah, it's cute, but I would rather you get out of debt, y'all get mad at us. Y'all say poor people deserve nice things. And I agree. Poor people do deserve nice things. But at what expense? At what expense do you deserve those nice things? You also deserve a life of not being frustrated about not being able to pay your bills, not being able to feed your kids, not being able to do fun things with your kids. You deserve a life that is not financially stressful. And that's the point a lot of us are trying to make. And y'all done lost the plot. Y'all on here arguing whether the Chinese people is telling the truth or not. Who cares? Who cares? You still broke.
Who are the suppliers behind Lululemon? Some of their yoga wears are actually from Xianglong Clothing and Huangqisheng Clothing. And guess what? Both factories located in Yiwu here. And these two factories also supply clothing for Fila and Under Armour. I guess most of you know the price of Lululemon or other big brands. They sell you a legging pants for $100. And guess what? Here in these two factories, you can get them for around $5 to $6. Crazy! And what's even better? The material and the craftsmanship are basically the same because they all come the same production line. See, this is why people come to China and looking for the OEM factory, because they just can get the cheapest and best quality product from there and sell you, I don't know how much. Alright guys, if you want to know more about Lululemon or any other active wear brands, leave your message in the comment section. I'm Luna, your reliable source.
A lot of y'all don't want the fall of capitalism. You just want to be one of the few people that benefit from it. And a prime example of that is the fact that we have been talking for the past couple of days about Anwar White selling dating coach advice, whatever, with common sense information for 10,000 USD, right? So why is it now that China is releasing all of these hair vendors, purse vendors, shoe vendors, all of these different vendors for commodities that we love, that we're paying 10 times more for in the United States? They're releasing the vendors for free. And y'all are compiling lists of the vendors and selling them for $50 to $100. And the information is free. So no, you don't want the fall of capitalism. You just want to be one of the few people that benefit from it. Just say it. Because it's always, oh, we're girls, we're girls. But when you get some information that you feel like you can gatekeep, then you're on that until you can figure out a way to monetize it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to find all of the vendors myself, and I am going to compile a list, and I'm going to release the list for free. Duh, that's what a real girl does, because you getting something that doesn't take away from me. Duh.
We know most things are actually made in China. Like whatever you check, whatever most items you buy, they're always like, you just see made in China, like that's just it. But then I've seen the difference between those things. Like for most countries, the quality of those things, they are made from the same country, it could be the same companies, but the qualities are very different. And I have seen that thing. I don't know if some people have realized that or have seen it, but then I understood that, like with the US, they actually send in like people that they're specifically people who do like the quality inspection. So they conduct like some inspection on the products, and then they ask for specific quality that they need. I realized that most countries do not really they get like very cheap China made products to the extent where they be like, oh, like this is China made. Like it's known that whenever you say like China made, it's just supposed to be some low quality type of thing. They go through like quality control to make sure that everything like it's qualitative. So we all know that brands in the US actually source for cheap labor from Chinese workers, but still the US brand actually values quality. So they're still gonna make sure like they get a little bit of like quality. So not all items are actually qualitative, but some extent. Brands in the US care about reputation. They do not want their reputation to be for people to actually say bash them, because reviews are a high priority and are very important, unlike in some countries. Honestly, some countries, they do not care about reviews, so that's the reason why they don't care about like just receiving some cheaply made items. And that is the reason why when I saw like all this luxury, there's some luxury item like bags, especially Lululemon. When I tell you how many I've seen that were like really cheap, like, was never that serious, never that expensive. But when I started seeing people in the US wearing it, like, oh my god, Lululemon, like this person is wearing this, and then I just thought about it, like I've been seeing that thing for a long time, and I always thought about it as just normal basic wear. Like I don't understand. So to be honest, like I would say like in the US there's really like very high prioritization for consumerism, and like wanting to acquire like some luxury brands and things like that.
Which Chinese factory supply for Louis Vuitton? Let me tell you the secret. Louis Vuitton has many Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it. 50% of Louis Vuitton bags are from these two places. Number 1, Guangzhou cities. Number 2, Dongguan city. 90% of Louis Vuitton silk is from Wanshili in Hangzhou city. I have a friend who is a manager in the factories of the Louis Vuitton, and he told me the similar quality only needs $50. That's crazy, right? Follow Daniel, help you find the best supply.
Okay, let me get this off real quick before I go to work. I tell y'all all the time, I only speak from personal experience. I do not make assumptions. Here is my personal experience with China. I did have a Chinese last name for 3 years. I had a Chinese father-in-law, and I flew through China 3 or 4 times. Okay, I had layovers in Hong Kong, Guangzhou, and Shanghai. So I spent some time in China. I spent some time in Chinese settings. I spent time around Chinese American people, and I had the benefit of having a Chinese last name, so that did bring about some assumptions that I was Chinese before they met me face to face. So I got some Chinese treatment every once in a while. With that being said, here's what I know about China based on my experience. Anytime I landed in China, I couldn't access Facebook, I couldn't access WhatsApp, I couldn't access Instagram. Do you know why? Because China is highly censored. They censor their population. This is why Chinese people do not have access to TikTok, except for right now, when all of a sudden they're pushing consumerism onto all of us. China is a semi-pseudo-communist country. China maintains whatever economic and governmental system that allows them to have complete control over their people and over the market. They don't respect their own people. Their people don't have freedoms. Do you really think, you Americans, do you really think that they respect you, that they respect us? No, absolutely not. There is a reason why these people are on TikTok all of a sudden, desperately pushing these items onto all of y'all. Because they do not have consumer power over there. All the consumer power is over here. Everything says made in China over here because we are the consumers. The consumers have the power. They need us to spend our money over there. Those of you Americans who are rooting for China, you're weird. You wouldn't last a day in China. First of all, you probably wouldn't even be able to get over there. They aren't even friendly when it comes to giving Americans visas, which is why I've only ever been in the airport, because you're not allowed to leave the airport in China. They don't hand out visas at the airport. You got to go through a process beforehand as an American. They don't respect us. They don't like us. Yet, there's Chinatowns in every major city across the United States of America. I've been to a lot of those too. Why? Because I was married into a half Chinese family. And I always wondered how the hell they pulled off having Chinatown in San Francisco, in New York, in Chicago. I mean, everywhere you go, there's a Chinatown. On top of that, I spent a lot of time in Thailand too. And in order to circumvent the rules in Thailand about the Chinese coming over there and buying up their land, Chinese people just changed their last names, their surnames, to Thai surnames in order to then be identified as Thai. They surrendered their Chinese identity, identified themselves as Thai by taking on Thai surnames so that they could purchase land in the country of Thailand. They play a wicked game, and that's what they're doing right now.
This is not a drill. They are suppliers online on this app that are selling Nikes for $1 and also for $2. Like the Chinese suppliers and factories, I don't know what Nike did to them, but I saw one guy, he had like a bunch of shoes around him, like Nikes. And he's like, yeah, $1, $2, contact us. Ooh, I don't know what Trump done started, man.
Are you looking for jewelry supplier from China? Bracelets $2, earring $1, necklace $2, bros $2. This is my jewelry warehouse in Yiwu City. No middleman, no commission. 20,000 cards starting at $1. Follow Mark, make money.
Wholesalers, it's 2024 and you still don't know who are the suppliers behind Dior? Their knitwears and cardigans are from Beyond Garments from Hangzhou. Beyond Garments is also the supplier behind many luxury brands from America and Europe like Sandra, Maj, Versace. Second, most of the Dior's cosmetic products are actually produced by Taiho Group, which is also the supplier behind Lancome and Loewe. Third, 24-hour packaging technology from Shenzhen provide exquisite packaging and bags for Dior. Of course, Dior has their own factories in many countries, supplies different products for them. If you want to know more about this part of the information, tell me in the comment section so I'll prepare for my next videos. I'm Luna, follow me for more China sourcing tips.
Hello from China. Let me show you the United States products in my home. Nothing. Do you have something from China in your home?
European luxury companies tried to blame America's tariffs for the recent price hikes, but were unexpectedly exposed by China, who revealed the insanely greedy markups they're actually charging. Multiple European luxury brands, including Prada, Gucci, and Chanel, recently raised their already sky-high prices. These companies argued that the increases were necessary in order to protect their businesses and employees from the financial effects of the tariffs. However, this excuse angered owners of manufacturing companies in China, who took to social media to reveal that these European companies are raising prices purely out of greed. They claim that even at a 20 to 50% tariff rate, the prices these brands charge ensure that they will still make a profit of more than 2,000%, and they have actual evidence to back up these claims, as one poster who operates an OEM factory which produces the actual products that these luxury companies put their brand on and sell to consumers. He showed that one bag, which retails at $38,000, actually only costs about $1,400 to manufacture, which is a markup of more than 2,700%.
Come with me to check out China's biggest luxury wholesaler. Thanks to President Trump's recent tariffs, Chinese manufacturers for luxury brands like Hermes, Chanel, LV, etc. are coming out of the woods and offering direct sale to us peasants and the US at a pinch of the price. When you walk in, they hand you gloves because the goods you're about to handle are still the same top quality. I've never seen so many Hermes bags lined up in front of me, let alone try every size and color on like I'm in Walmart. Best part is there's no sales assistant stalking you, no upsells, and you're only paying 20% of the price. These only range from $250 to $500. That's a steal. Manufacturers are exposing luxury brands for what the bags actually cost. Now that Donnie's pissed off the peasants, all hell's broken loose.
When I saw a lot of these videos coming out, I was really surprised, and I'm like, wait, like really, do people not know? I was like they have to be kidding, right? Like, is this an exaggeration? But after like in-depth like watching and seeing a lot of Americans' thoughts on how surprised they are, let us all come to the agreement that when it comes to luxury items, we have always known that just for show off. Like, people are buying those things for brand names, like just so people, it's basically for how people will perceive them, people around them, like they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, just to like feel a little bit like, oh, I'm above a certain people, like, you know, like this class structure where some people feel like, oh, you know, I'm better than this person, I purchased this, or yeah, like they just feel it helps them like feel, you know, like they are better, like they're purchasing and buying something that someone or a regular person cannot afford. But we have some poor people, they don't really have any money, but they'll do anything to purchase and go and get that particular brand to feel among, like feel like they have achieved something in life. You've made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. Please make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time. Hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video, and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Bye.